hello guys, this is my dark spot, and I have huge honor to present one of my favorite bands ever, Of Limbo. And here we are with Jake. Hi, Jake, and how are you
Hi
today?
there. Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, as I said, beach life ruins me, but I love it. What about the weather? What about the weather there?
Weather's nice here. It's still like the end of summertime in California, so yeah, it's pretty sunny and pretty hot.
What about surfing and stuff?
Surfing I'm not too good at. I was pretty good at snowboarding, but yeah, boogie boarding not too bad at, but never really got into the surfing too much.
Well, I thought, I really hoped, you had some kind of crazy surfing stories like that end up in the bars, but okay.
Yeah, no, I can't give you too many. I got a few skinny dipping stories, but yeah, we probably shouldn't tell those ones.
Well, yeah, whatever kind of stories you have, you are free to say, because here we can curse, we can do whatever, it's totally free speech kind of channel. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool, cool. So tell me, I suppose you are super excited. I recently saw the video and heard that song, your new single, California Demon. So what can you say about that? I mean, I've seen some critiques, some reviews and everything, but I would like to know more about that behind process, like, behind the shooting and everything else.
Yeah, so the video, it's our most complex video we've ever made. It really started out with me laying in bed across multiple nights, and whenever I couldn't sleep, I'd think about different ideas for it, and I'd wake up and get in there and write it on my notes. And then eventually, after I thought I had enough ideas in there, I sat there and I drew out a whole storyboard and made it animated to the music, so we knew we had everything we needed to, very prepared for when we finally went in and shot the video. But then when we shot the video, we needed to get a lot of different stuff organized, props wise, etc. We didn't have a very big budget on this, of course. So things like the gurney, we actually contacted my cousin that works at a hospital. She got me to dress up as a maintenance man and come in through the back service elevator. So I came in with my workman's outfit, and my van parked out the back illegally. And then she snuck me into a back room where all the gurney graveyard is, basically, with all these old gurneys that are like half working. Stole
Oh,
one of the gurneys, took it down the service elevator, took it out the back as quickly as I could, under the guise that I was the gurney repairman. So
oh,
yeah, another one. There was also a scene at the start where Luke's playing guitar, and he's kind of like on a mountain of trash and California garbage, etc. But we knew we needed a shopping cart in there. So we have a homeless guy that lives at the front of our house pretty often. And we call him Jack Jack. So we saw Jack Jack, and we're like, hey, Jack Jack, dude, we really need a shopping cart. Can you go and grab us one, dude? So he went and stole a shopping cart from somebody, and we paid him $20 for it. But there's a
oh
lot of
my
lot of
God.
different organizing stories like that were pretty intense for sure.
Yeah, I saw that was crazy. Well, I always say that the best videos come up with low budget. Like, it really doesn't have to be like some huge production or whatever. Like, it's mostly, do it yourself kind of thing, right? And it turns out to be the best, actually.
Yeah, this one we were definitely trying to make it look as big budget as possible, but yeah, I don't think we didn't have as much money as, say, a Marilyn Manson or somebody like that would, but we tried to fake it and make it look like it.
Well, as I said, it's all about the creativity and everything else. But the money, I mean, you can do today. Thankfully, you can do a lot of things without, too much budget. Actually,
Yeah,
that,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Especially
Yeah,
if
I
you,
mean, one way we
yeah.
save on money is that I edit it myself. We have our friend Tony Verselli and Todd Grilly come and shoot it with us, because I can't be behind the cameras at the same time as being in the video, obviously, and plus they're the experts. So after that happens, though, I get on the video editing process, and that's another way to save some cash on it.
Excellent. And tell me about, I think that, to me, that scary part was with fire. I was like, okay, that wasn't easy for Luke.
Yeah, that was not easy, and that was definitely very sketchy. So the first
Yeah.
first we had to shoot at two different studios, because the first studio that we rented out said absolutely no fire under any circumstances. They wouldn't even let us use candles around the drummer. So we had to get
Yeah.
like fake digital, not digital candles, you know what I mean, the
Yeah.
battery powered candles.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I was like, oh shit, how are we going to shoot this fire thing? And I remembered my old friend Greg Carter, who has a studio out in Santa Ana. I called him up and he's like, yeah, Jake, absolutely, whatever you need. And he basically just gave us the keys, and his brother sat in the other room doing taxes or whatever the hell he was doing. And we had carte blanche to just light shit on fire and light the guitar on fire. It got pretty scary a couple times because even though we poured flame retardant all over his suit and all over his hair, the flames definitely caught up his glove and up his arm a couple times. I had to run in there with the wet blanket and cover him with it like a stop, drop, and roll style when you're taught as a kid about how to deal with fire. It was pretty crazy.
Oh, I think it was like it was a brave and crazy thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, but I was, it happened earlier when I was hanging out with friends. Like, I think it was like, I don't know, third date of drinking and stuff, and they were just like playing with fire like little children, except we weren't
Nice.
children at all. And it was like, oh, house is on fire. Are you fucking kidding me? And you are hanging out and
Uh-oh.
drinking beer? Like, call the firefighters, do something. Like, it was kind of, so I know what it feels like. It was kind of
Yeah.
scary, but
It gets out of control very quickly.
yeah. But luckily, everyone is safe, and the video was amazing in the end.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
call that the limbo way. We almost always leave things to the very last minute, or do things that are very on the edge of being safe or unsafe, and it always pulls out the limbo way. It always comes together.
Oh, by the way, when you say that, like I like the bands act that way because it always turns out that it's a great band. Like you're pushing the boundaries, like a lot of unpredictable things happen, but it's all rock and roll. Like, and
Yeah.
recently I've interviewed a band that plays to Bury Strangers. You heard of them probably, right? They're from
What's the name?
a place to Bury Strangers. They're from New York.
I'm not familiar with them. No.
Well, there's some kind of noise, rock, post-punk kind of a thing. Like if you're into Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, you will love them certainly. But
Oh,
they're
gotcha. I know that sound very well.
like but they're much darker. I don't know. And I was present at some of their shows, and they use those strobe lights and everything, and it gets pretty intense and crazy, like and they always feel like I was like, how do you play people? Like, what do you do? It was just like, yeah, it was kind of scary in the beginning, but we just like go and push boundaries more and more, and always turns out it's a great show. And
Yeah.
it kind of reminds me of what you said in some of your recent interviews. You said that generally, like, if you want to stand and like watch a concert like this, like go to the cinema or something. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Go to a theater, or maybe just don't go to a rock show. Go to a Taylor Swift thing or something, and then you can just sit there
Yeah.
with your phone out and record the whole thing and act like you're not even there. It's crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, rock shows, you want people to be interactive and have fun and be a part of the music and be a part of the party.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. So I hate, for me, it doesn't get, I mean, I don't get a lot of opportunities to see my favorite bands. So travel to other countries to see bands. So I totally struggle between like, oh my God, I saw Tool. It happened once in this lifetime. I gotta record everything. And they're like, what am I fucking doing? And like,
Yeah, you got to experience it. Yeah,
like,
exactly. I don't know.
like,
I'm with you though. Like, there's many times where I'm in life, like, oh yeah, I better
yeah.
pull the phone out and record this. But then I think about it, I'm like, am I ever gonna really even watch this later? Like, I'd be better off just with the memories and with living in the moment to the maximum.
Yeah, I think it's cool to to record just one part of the song. Like if I was like, if I got dementia or something, I was like, oh, I see, you see. I was
Ah, I did have that experience. Yeah.
yeah, but generally what I also hate that a lot of people become just like this, just like stand and record like we're recording some kind of conference. So like, dude, and then
Yeah.
when I go to some crazy metal shows like grindcore, like hardcore, whatever, here in my city, like our bands, and it was like and they're children like from those people from the band, and they be like mosh pit, like whatever, and I was like, Wow, that's what we need. Like, do you have some
Yeah.
kind of similar shows? And what kind of your shows? What kind of atmosphere make they make?
Usually, yeah, like I said, we try and make it as much of a party as possible. We have a few songs that are very drinking related, and ultimately
Yeah,
that's what a rock band's getting concerts for, is to sell booze, you know.
yeah.
That keeps the venues lights on, it keeps the venues booking us, is selling booze. So we have a couple songs that are really geared towards the selling of the booze and people having a great time. So yeah, I would say that first and foremost, above everything else, it's just a big party. So we make everybody feel like they're a part of the party with us. They were invited, and they're all having fun with us. There's nobody's like special and non-special. It's just we're all up there having a great time together.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, when you can connect with the audience, because I have seen some bands. Of course, I don't want to name the bands. Nothing bad. I don't want to say anything bad. I'm just saying that there are certain bands who have that kind of, really crazy connection with the audience.
Yeah.
And they're the bands who, they just do the job and they do it in an amazing way, but not too much, connection. What are your thoughts on that?
I guess it depends on the kind of music. I mean, obviously, my thought's the same as your thought, the same as anyone in your audience's thought. It's that obviously it's better to make a connection with the people. But
Yeah,
I mean, God, there's different rungs of it, I guess. Like if you're a band like Sleep Token or whatever, or Ghost, and you're like just a very theatrical situation,
yeah,
then I can see why it's more of a just, we are here and you are there and you are watching our performance. It's not so interactive. But then I guess that's not completely true, because if you look at a band like Slipknot, even though they're also very theatrical and wearing masks and everything, I feel like their interaction with the audience is quite intense. There's quite a
exactly.
strong feeling of connectivity with the audience. But I mean, if you're playing some kind of soft jazz music, I don't expect the dude to get out there and be doing spins in the fucking circle pit or something, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like when I compare, for example, when I saw Tool, it was amazing. But probably if you saw Tool or just on YouTube or something, they are just very strict about their, they have their own way of playing. And I heard many people complain, oh my God, they don't really have interaction. But like it's Tool. I'm just
Yeah.
grateful to see them, to hear them playing like for some cheap amount of money, because I found some ticket on discount. And then again, I was at Bring Me the Horizon, and it was like, oh my God, this was insane,
Yeah.
literally. You know what I mean? So it's always,
Yeah.
what was the most memorable show of your band and of band you like?
Oh shit, I can't pick one of my band, but I can definitely say the most memorable show that me and Luke have ever been to was Faith No More, who's a very huge band, obviously. They played in this very small club in Los Angeles with a secret show that was only like word of mouth or whatever, at a club called the Troubadour that we played at recently. But this is a very small place. Like the next night, Faith No More were playing at a huge theater called the Wiltern. But somehow our friend got us into this secret show, and it was so small and intimate. And Mike Patton is I think, one of the most talented performers since Freddie Mercury. He's just the most incredible live frontman ever, as far as my opinion. And we're sitting there like standing just close enough to touch him the whole time, rocking out. And then at one point, he jumps in the crowd. He gets crowd surfed with this long ass microphone cord all the way over to the bar where we happened to be at that time. And it looks like he's about to get up on the bar. So Luke just goes, boom, and clears all the drinks off the bar. Then Mike Patton started doing the worm on the bar. I don't know if you know what the worm is, but on
Oh
the
my
stomach,
God,
and like
I
just doing
know.
that while he had the microphone in his mouth and he's singing. It was crazy.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's insane. That's what I like about him. Like, although
Yeah, he's the best.
I haven't seen them live, unfortunately, but from what I saw on YouTube, like I was like, oh my God, he is a genius.
Yeah,
Like,
he's an absolute genius.
yeah, definitely. And tell me, but let's go back to this single California Demon. I really think I should explore it more. Definitely the topic and everything. So I prepared some questions. I have to write them down. So because there are
Sure.
many. And what I would like to know is, how do you translate the essence of the song into its distinctive sound? Thinking of California Demon.
So we always put concept at the end. You know, it's like we come up with riffs and we come up with the melodies and stuff like that, and then after everything is basically there for the most part of the song, then we'd have a conversation, me and Luke, about what is it that we think this song should be about. And usually it doesn't even have to be like a humming and hawing of ideas. We usually, one of us knows instantly, oh, this one should be that idea we have. Like, we got a list of fucking just song titles and concepts for songs. So it's really about pairing riffs with ideas. And then once we say, okay, maybe this one's California Demon, and then we talk about, okay, well, what can California Demon be about? Oh, let's play along with a bunch of double entendres and metaphors about selling your soul and glitz and glamour and the movie industry and the record industry and all that. So that's pretty much how it came together.
Yeah, but generally, yeah, I suppose, you know, I of course I was reading about some conspiracy theories and everything, so I think it's a tricky thing to get involved into that discussion. It never ends. Like, it can get so toxic, you know what I mean? But the thing is that I think the general, that song can be really transferred to people. Yeah, like, you know, you can do some kind of introspection. It can be you can relate to you know, to that song pretty much, because yeah, at certain points in your life you can be like, okay, like you know, I can achieve this, but what do I have to sacrifice to achieve this or that,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah. That, I mean, that's the metaphor of the selling the soul for fame and fortune, and like just giving up your integrity and giving up your control of your own art, etc. But I mean, it could be taken that way, or it could be taken in the literal sense, which is the conspiracy sense that you said. And we've always found the conspiracy idea of it to be really just like entertaining. I personally don't know where I ever would have sat on it, but our uncle fully believes wholeheartedly in a literal Satan, and that literal Johnny Depps and fucking Marilyn Mansons are selling their souls and sacrificing babies and whatever the hell crazy stuff. Whether any level of that is true to any degree, I find it just very interesting that people actually like fully believe that. So we explored that concept of it while it being a metaphor, but taking it literally, and run it down the line of literalness.
Yeah, what I like about that, I mean, is that you perfectly matched video. Like, you did a great job with doing that video. You know, in comparison to the lyrics, like, it all matched perfectly. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
thank you.
And yeah, you're welcome. It's up to people how they will interpret it, but I think it's a really good concept for a rock and roll song. Like, you know.
Thank you, babe. You totally get it then. Yeah, it's all about just telling a story and being entertaining with this one. And some people take it a little bit the wrong way. We've had a few Christian conservative people that have come across it and had absolute freakouts. But you can't please everybody, and you know, we're just ultimately just trying to tell a story and make a good rock song.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. Yeah, that's what because I saw that interview when I am not sure the name of the person who interviewed you, but Luke was there too, and you were telling the story about it. And what I like is that you really didn't want to get into all those, you know, theories and left it aside, and that's really cool. You know, you just tell your own story. But the thing is that pretty much when you take a look at it, I'm not sure if you watched any episode of Black Mirror, but
Oh yeah.
Oh, so when you think of it, like the society pretty much is going to, you know, is going to become like, for example, people on the street, you know, ask me, oh, like for example, you meet people at the beach. Oh my God, like you don't have Instagram anymore. like, and then you're like zero in their eyes, and I'm like,
Yeah, you're off the grid.
like,
You've been reduced. Yeah.
yeah, and like, how many followers do you have? Oh my God, like on my
Oh,
YouTube,
that's your worth. Yeah.
like, oh my God, that's whatever happened with people, like, you know, and it really makes sense. So I'm glad that you definitely made a song like that, because it's really something different that we saw before. You know what I mean?
Yes, totally. It's not just another party song. We got a couple of those fun party ones like Let's Go and Let's Get Fucked Up, but this one's definitely a little bit more of a narrative to it. Yeah, I mean, Black Mirror, God, like that episode that with Ron Howard's daughter with the well, like kind of like what you were talking about. You have a social credit system or whatever, and if
Yeah.
she doesn't get enough likes as with her interactions with her coworkers in the elevator, then she can't buy this new house in the nicer neighborhood. Well, that
Yeah.
shit's actually happening in China now. So fuck. Hopefully, it doesn't ever come out to you in Europe and doesn't come here. But who knows?
Well, I can only imagine, like, like robots starting, starting to chase us, something
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, I mean, generally, as an artist, I like the artists who, hold their ground, who stick what they make, to what they make, because you can really get, insulted by what people think, what people say. And what, some of the artists like probably are, getting afraid that they will lose their fans or whatever, that people will judge them. But as a rock and roll artist, I mean, you generally have to, have thick skin,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's pretty tough on that world because like the world is so polarized now. Like
Yeah,
obviously you don't want to shut anybody out automatically to like who might potentially like your music because you have a belief that this political puppet is better than that political puppet. So we just try and shy away from it for the most part and not really get into that kind of stuff. But I totally agree with you. It's better to stand your ground about serious things because rock and roll has always absolutely been about rebellion and thumbing your nose at what we're told to do. And I do find that when big corporations and the media and academia and most of society is all telling you to do one thing at the same time, if you're complying with that thing, you're probably not too much of a rebel anymore, which is an interesting thing
exactly.
about modern rock music. There's a lot of lack of rebellion, I would say, for the most part.
Yeah, yeah. I was watching some interview. I think it was with Noah of Bad Omens, and I think he was the one who mentioned that music became a little bit safe. Do you agree with that? That it became a
I,
little bit,
I think he's probably talking more about the musical end, like the actual content of the music, rather than any sort of cultural beliefs or any
yeah,
statements that he's making. I'm not that familiar with Bad Omens music. I think it sounds like pretty decent metalcore music to me. Is he pushing crazy boundaries musically? I would say it's in the same kind of vein as Bring Me the Horizon kind of metalcore evolved into that kind of stuff. I definitely haven't heard any cultural standpoints that he's making that are, wow, Noah, you're a real you're a real man of the people trying to fight the power, dude. I haven't heard any of that from him, but either way, I guess we both agree that yes, at some point rock and roll and rock culture kind of lost its balls a little bit.
yeah, yeah. Well, actually, I saw both of them. I saw Bring Me the Horizon at Bad Omens this year in Budapest,
Nice.
and like I don't know, I cannot even say who was better. Like no, I'm pretty much am still under the influence, But the
Yeah.
thing is, like, yeah, they're totally different actually. But I think Bad Omens, their band was kind of judged because they completely changed their style. They added more soft animal elements, more clean singing, more beautiful melodies,
Well,
and people
they've said the
expected
same
them.
thing about
Yeah, yeah,
they said the same thing about Bring Me the Horizon, though, right? Like Bring Me the
yeah,
Horizon has definitely gone much more, I don't know,
yeah,
in a cleaner, softer direction than what they
yeah,
used to be. But I mean, that's just as you get older. And an interesting thing about that is people always say this dumb term, selling out, like as
yeah,
if some musician makes a decision one day. Oh, you know what, guys, we haven't been making enough money. Let's while we're already a very successful band touring the world, Bring Me the Horizon, we're not making quite enough money. Maybe we should start making some songs that are way more poppy and way more soft so that we can make even more money. It's complete bullshit. No band has ever had that fucking conversation. People say that about Metallica when, oh, Black Album was the start of the downhill for them. Well, maybe it's the fucking last album that you like, or maybe it's not even, maybe it's the first album that you don't like of Metallica. But I
yeah,
guarantee you this, Lars and fucking James didn't have a conversation about, hey dude, let's stop making our music so thrashy and let's make it a little bit heavier and groove laden so that we can make more money on this one. There's no fucking way they ever said that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. It's just people like to experiment with the style. I don't think what's wrong with that, you know. And the thing, I mean, nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you want, I
Yeah.
know bands who stick to their style. For example, some of my bands from my country, like Infest, they are kind of a death thrash kind of metal, old school, and they strictly stick to their sound, and they are pretty much successful. They have been touring with Cannibal Corpse and many bands, you know. But the thing is, I really like to see when bands experiment. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
let's see what you can bring. And what do you think about generally about collaborations? Do you have in mind some kind of interesting collaborations with, you know, other artists? And what would be your ideal collaboration?
Oh shit. I mean, my ideal collaboration, like
Yeah.
if I could dream a little dream, I would love to write a song with Luke and then have Mike Patton sing on it. But coming back to reality here for a minute, we have a song that we just recorded called Alibi, and we haven't done the vocals on it yet, but I would love Hyro the Hero to do some vocals on it. I don't know if you've heard him before. He's kind of got a bit of a Zach De La Rocha thing going on. Great rap style, great voice, cool ass dude. We met him in Houston, and this song particularly is one that I think lends it to a little bit of that rappy style. So it'd be good to have a mixture of him doing parts and me doing parts on this one. I'm hoping we're going to hit him up soon and we'll see how it goes.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. And what else I would like to know, actually? So, tell me about as you know, your performances are pretty much energetic and everything. And how do you plan to bring that intensity when you are going to perform California Demon on stage? That will
Oh,
be,
dude, we've
yeah.
actually been playing California Demon for a long
Oh,
time. Yeah, since shit, probably about a year ago at least. And it's great. It's a fun one. We have another song called "The Devil You Know," and
I
I
know
guess
that
that's
one. Yeah.
yeah, a little bit similar thematically and sort of vibe wise. I mean, this one's a little bit more up pace. That one's a little bit slower and even more dark, maybe. But yeah, we have a great time throwing in ones that have the darker color as long as it's still, you know, got energy behind it, because it's nice to paint different colors throughout your set. The same thing you're saying about Cannibal Corpse, like I don't disrespect Cannibal Corpse or whatever the other band you said was that have stayed the same forever. I don't disrespect that at all. I totally understand, especially in a that kind of genre of music, to stay true to what your original sort of roots are. But for us, we've always tried to make every single song have a different color, a different vibe as much as we possibly can, because I don't know. I feel like when I see bands and I hear the same song 12 times in a row, I'm usually over it after the second or third time of hearing that song, you know?
Oh,
So for us, we try and make hills and valleys as much as we can. And every time we played California Demon, it has definitely been one of the more upbeat, fun ones, actually, even though it's a bit darker, a bit slower than, let's say, My Kind of Girl or Let's Get Fucked Up. It's still, yeah, it crushes.
yeah, but tell me about the effects on the stage. I mean, unfortunately, I wasn't able to see that, and I'm not familiar with it because we are too far away to you know, unless you come, you know, to Europe or something. But did
Yeah,
you
we'll have
bring? Oh well, definitely, yeah. What about the effects on the stage while playing those certain songs? You know?
well, we do not light his guitar on fire yet on stage.
No, no, don't
Yeah,
do that.
I think we'd have to be at an outdoor performance to pull that one off. But he does sometimes. In The Devil You Know, he uses whatever he finds as a slide all the time. Sometimes he's used beer bottles, but recently in practice he's been using a lighter as the slide. He lights it as a flame coming out while he's sliding on the guitar. So we're gonna probably incorporate that to our next live show, I think, pretty soon. As far as the effect on the audience, that one's more of a, you know, it's very sort of slow, heavy, like almost like a Meshuggah, like one of Meshuggah's fucking
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Demiurge, my favorite riff of all time, or heaviest riff of all time. It just makes you want to.
Yeah, it's
So that's definitely
driving.
more what California Demon gets the reaction of, rather than like a Mike kind of girl, where it's usually gets this kind of.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, speaking of my favorites, yeah, I definitely like that one from Nicotine. You know
Yeah,
what
the
I
devil you
mean?
know.
Yeah, but not that one. Happened again, and the devil.
Oh,
Yeah,
happen
of
again.
course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's still
that's
our most popular one on YouTube and everything. I think that one just cracked 500,000 views, which is crazy to us because we've never thought we'd get that much love on a song ever. But yeah, happen again does very well for us.
it's totally like I don't know. I had that song on repeat. Like I had had this moment like one song on repeat, or I just make playlist with one song and it just goes and goes like
Nice.
it's not.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
glad it doesn't annoy you. That's great. You can listen to it multiple times and it doesn't get boring. That's great.
No, 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 no. When I like the song, I really like the song. But what also have noticed, you mentioned your influences and you performed with some of them. What I would definitely pick Candlebox, and
Yes, huge.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I would like you to tell me more about that, actually, about playing with them.
Oh, well, Kevin Martin, the singer, we've obviously been fans of Candlebox since long before we ever got the opportunity to play with them. But we're sort of, the first night in the green room before you're about to play, you don't know how much you should sort of be interacting with the big band that's giving you this huge opportunity. Like, you don't want to fucking like just bust into their green room. What's up, guys? And they're like, what the fuck? Get out of my room. You don't want to do anything like
Yeah.
that. So we're just sort of patiently, silently waiting in the green room, and Kevin kicked in our door, and he's like, "How's it going, you cunts?" Because he knew that me and Luke are Australian, and he's got an Australian wife, and he spent a lot of time out there. So from the second he did that, I was just all laughs, and we knew it was going to be a great old time with him. We went bowling one night. Well, not bowling. We were at a bowling alley / bar. We bowled. He drank. The boys drank. It was great. We had a really good time on those 4 shows we did with them.
Well, that's super cool. I really like Candlebox. Like these are one of my favorites, especially their first album. Like it's the essence of grunge
Oh,
for
dude, I,
me.
I love I love almost every album they've ever put out. Their new album is great. The Long Goodbye is great. I love the last one too. There's this one song, Riptide. I think just it sounds like it should have been one of the biggest songs in the world. It's got that kind of what was that song by Aerosmith on Armageddon? Oh shit.
Oh,
No, it's got that quality to it. Like it should have
I
been
know.
the #1 song around the world. Even though it's not like the heaviest, like most rah rock song, it should have had. I don't even want to say Goo Goo Dolls, that one from City of Angels, but it has that kind of quality of a song that should have just been the most massive success ever if it was released at that time. Anyway, Riptide is the song I'm yapping about, but I love all their music.
Yeah. Oh, but among your influences, of course, you mentioned Alice, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, right? But the
Yeah.
thing is, what I have noticed, that's really cool. But when I listen to you, you totally like influences are definitely present, but you definitely do it your own crazy way, where it totally goes in, totally unique direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's more like because when I was listening to Alice, like one of my favorite albums is definitely Dirt. I think I have a picture somewhere. I cannot find it right now. Dirt, yes, and it's totally like the most fucked up, depressed album I've ever heard. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, definitely. And but the thing is, in your songs, although there are some kind of melancholy elements and atmosphere, I don't really hear that it's kind of that depressed. You know what I mean? It's kind of more like crazy, fucked up rock and
All
roll.
right, I've got one for you to listen to though. Then, if you want to hear one that's got some deep, heartfelt, depressed, longing for more vibe, our cover of "Viva Las Vegas" that is on the Nicotine album.
Oh, I
That one,
heard.
I definitely tap into a very self-loathing, I hate Las Vegas and I hate my life kind of vibe.
Yeah, 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 that one. But generally, when when I saw your other videos and your other songs, it's totally like absolutely crazy partying kind of a thing. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Yeah.
yeah,
And tell me about you grew up in Australia and later you came to LA, and Luke was in Boston, if I
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So mom married an Australian, which is Luke's dad. So we're half brothers. And I was there when I was like 7 years old or something. And we both grew up together playing guitar all the time, and I was in bands and he was in different school productions playing guitar and doing Toto solos at recitals and shit like that. And he then eventually, after I'd moved to America, he got into Berklee School of Music doing jazz guitar. So that is in Boston, and it's a very like prestigious la-di-da music school. But after I think it was 2 semesters there, he came and stayed with me in Long Beach for summer, because rather than flying all the way back home to Australia, or rather than just staying in Boston and wasting money at the dormitory, I'm like, dude, I got a room at my place, come stay at my beach shack. So he came and stayed with me one summer. Just turned into boozy party nights, and we would always just sit there with the guitars afterwards while we're a little bit drunk, and then started voice memoing stuff, and we listened back to it the next day and like, damn, this is pretty fucking good. So we just kept down that path, and then it just got to a point where we were so excited about the stuff that we were creating that the only option was for him to drop out of school and try and do this full time.
Yeah, and it turns out it was the best thing ever, right?
Yeah, I think he definitely doesn't regret it.
Tell me, how do you balance that thing, like being vulnerable, and that rawness of rock and roll in your music? Like, where is that line? How do you maintain it?
Well, like I said, we like to paint as many different colors as possible. And sometimes some song calls for this kind of emotion. Sometimes some song calls for that kind of emotion. Thanks, babe. And yeah, I mean, that Viva Las Vegas one's definitely, it's a tortured idea. It's about my kind of, I personally don't like Vegas very much, as far as the glitz and the fake glitz and tacky glamour of it, etc., because I think it's a place that really uses a lot of people up and spits them out. Similar to Hollywood in a lot of ways. You go there with sort of these big hopes and dreams and stuff, and it ends up very badly for a lot of people. So I always thought that, yeah, taking the Elvis "Bright Light City gonna set my soul," he's all positive about it. But if you take those same exact lyrics, which we did, just remake the whole song, we changed the tempo of it and everything. If you remake the whole song to have a darker tone, those lyrics can translate to a sarcastic, "Right, let's set my soul on fire," that kind of thing, So we try to just do whatever we possibly can to paint the right emotion for what the song is trying to illustrate. If it's something that's like a bright rock song, like "Live in Every Minute of It," like "Get On It," that's got to have that that Ted Nugent-y kind of vibe, because that's what the song calls for.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I like that diversity in your music. Like that's what I like about it. As you said perfectly, painting different colors. Yeah.
Yes.
And speaking of your rebellious spirit, so here's an interesting question. If your music was revolution, what would you be fighting against?
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to get too political on stuff, but definitely not a fan of big government telling anybody what to do in their own lives. Whatever way you want to take that is fine with me. But yeah, we're not a fan of being told what to do. I believe in individual liberty and freedom and control of your own body. I guess I think that the whole war on drugs has been a huge failure, and things like that only give rise to criminals taking over, and that causes horrible shit like sex trade, etc. I think that a lot of things should just be straight up legalized, and it would make things a lot better.
Yeah, definitely I agree. I mean, same here, same thing here with government and everything else, and that's a good thing that you said. As you said, we don't need to get too political, but the thing is, I'm totally like excluded. Speaking of political activities, I don't even have TV in my room. I don't read newspaper.
Nice.
I don't know what's happening. Occasionally, my mom said, "Oh, did you hear that?" And that's how I know. And I was like, I really don't care, dude. Like, I just need a house near the beach or some lake, and like some dog or cat and the music, books, and I'm out. Like,
Sounds like you're living the dream.
Yeah, like, yeah, when you're younger, you'll be like, chasing, as you said, dreams, and when you see the reality, as you said, that Hollywood thing and everything, I mean, okay, that was never my goal, but like, for example, to accomplish something like here in companies, people work for and everything, you see how the society slowly but surely crashes. And
Absolutely.
it all become some kind of extortion in everything, like, and I really don't like it. And that kind of trafficking and everything bad that's going on. And then you'll be like, okay, if I want to save my peace of mind and don't let anyone program my brain, I just
Yeah.
got to, stay the fuck away from all those things.
Yeah, great call. Great call.
Yeah,
As much for as long as we can until they start forcing certain things on us, which that's what I really hate is when you're no
yeah,
longer allowed to live life your way. As long as you're not hurting anybody, yeah, I think you should be able to live life however the fuck you want and be able to teach your kids how to live however the fuck they want. But yeah, when they start imposing different things on you, oh, you have to do this, you have to stay in your home, you have to take this, you have to do that. That's when I take severe exception to those rules.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. I'm glad we agree on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And tell me about, okay, let's see about this one. If we can pick inside your creative space, what kind of eclectic items could be found there? Like something that can contribute to inspiration for the band or anything else interesting?
Oh, shit. Eclectic items that contribute to, I mean, definitely you mentioned Black Mirror before.
Yeah.
Definitely we draw inspiration from all kinds of different film, television, and literature, but I can't give you like I didn't find like a rotten orange on the side of the road one day and thought we should make a song about a rotting orange like Alice in Chains' Rotten Apple or something,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'm not sure that there's any incredible. You know what? We've got some random weird musical instruments that show their face every now and then. We got this thing. It's called I don't even. It's called like a thunderdome or a thunder something lightning block. I don't know. It's like this big weird tube thing. It's got like a hanging what's it called? Spring, like a hanging spring, and it makes these crazy thunder sounds. So every now and then, weird little musical items like that we find around at thrift stores, etc. They'll make their way into our songs, but can't say that they're usually the start of any of our inspirational ideas. Usually, everything always starts with us with a riff.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, but I really heard artists who were speaking about first getting the lyrics, then, then the music. But it's kind of, and then I realized those kind of bands are also pretty much unique, but because I think it's harder to adjust riffs to the lyrics, right?
Oh,
Than the opposite.
we never do it that way. Yeah, the only
Yeah,
song we've ever done the lyric first is our song "Nothing But Now," and the reason
yeah,
that one happened that way is because it's just such a I don't know. I was laying in bed one night trying to sleep, which is where usually my best ideas come from. Is when I'm annoyed at myself trying to sleep, but I can't turn the brain off. And somehow there was nothing but now. There was nothing but now. There was nothing but fucking nothing but now. That came into my head, and I just voice memoed it. And then finally, when I got to sleep and woke up the next day, saw the voice memo there, whatever it was, a week later, and sent it to Luke. And Luke's like, "Oh, that's fucking cool." And so then we wrote the song around that one, but almost always I think every single other circumstance, it will always start with one of our riffs.
yeah. And yeah, I thought you also said in one of your interviews, Luke was there as well. Yeah, when you were speaking, I think about getting inspiration and just lyrics were coming up all the time, so you have to, record it quickly. Am I right?
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Can you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We definitely sit there together and do all the lyrics and all the sort of musical arrangement together. It's there's very few songs that are all. I don't think there's any actually that are all him or all me. It's usually the both of us collaborating at pretty much every aspect of it. I'll bring a riff, he'll bring a riff, and then we always do the vocal melodies together. There's almost no time where one of us will come in with something pre-written vocal melody wise, and then after the vocal melodies are sort of roughly laid in there, we do the discussion about what the song might be, and then finally after we come up with a theme for it and maybe a title, then we start placing lyrics to the melodies that are already there.
And what is the most unusual place or I mean situation where you get inspiration actually? Was there some
Well,
weird moments, if you wish to
this
share?
is this is gonna sound pretty weird and off kilter, but one time when we were touring through the South, I've never really been exposed to country music too much, but we were touring through the South, and we had we didn't have any radio access other than to country stations or like Bible music, and Bible music these days is really annoying. It's like Imagine Dragons. I don't know. It's like sounds like Imagine Dragons, but it's about save us, Jesus, save us,
Oh, I
Lord. You know,
actually
like
like
that.
it. You know, when
Oh
it,
no,
I was
I
like,
prefer if I'd prefer old gospel Jesus music to the Imagine Dragon style Jesus music personally. But anyway, we're driving through the countryside and we're hearing a lot of country music. And dude, as soon as I sort of got started to understand what country music is, which is like really much more of it's about telling a story than it is about complex riffs and things like that. And it's very formulaic. But if you come up with like a few ideas for stories that you think will resonate with country music fans, then I think you're onto something. And while I was just being bombarded with these country songs for like 3 days as we're touring around in the van, I just came up with so many good country songs. So I think we got a country EP coming probably later next year. But we got about 6 songs that we're trying to flesh out that I don't know what level of country accent I'm gonna sing in, or just singing my normal voice. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think you can expect a Chris Stapleton style EP from us late next year.
oh, that sounds interesting, I must say. But tell me about, oh, I don't know why, but at this point, True Detective season 1 comes up to my mind. So,
I
what
worked on True
about?
Detective.
Oh,
Yeah, I do.
really?
I do. To keep the lights on, I make movie posters. So I worked on True Detective 1 and 2 seasons, and
Oh,
3, 1 and 2.
well, that's a new info for me, you know. But I think season 4 is coming up, like with Jodie Foster. I think
Yeah, with
I'm
Jodie
waiting.
Foster, I got a
Yeah.
feeling that because Nick Palazzo isn't involved in it, that it's not going to have the same vibe.
Well, I don't know. I saw the trailer, looks promising, but honestly, so far, first season, never ever. I mean, no
The
one.
best.
I mean, what are you talking about? Like the crew
Yeah,
and everything, like the music,
exactly.
you
I was
know.
I was talking to a friend about it, and we're like, yeah. I said like, yeah, just the writing was so good, and he's like, dude, is it really, or is it just that McConaughey is fucking incredible? And I thought
He is
about it more.
incredible,
I like
yeah.
watched it again, and I'm like, some of these lines where he's just like, Woody Harrelson's like, oh, it's a nice day out today. He's like, well, is a nice day actually a nice day, or is that just your perception of the circle of the seventh sun going around the moon on the equinox of your own torment? You know, some crazy line like that. And if you
Yeah.
just read it, it's absolutely ridiculous. And the only person that could have delivered it in such a fucking amazing way and made it like, wow, that's actually powerful is McConaughey, dude. McConaughey
Yeah.
killed it.
Yeah, and when you watch him, I mean, we women watch him in Magic Mike, and I was like, yeah, that's it. Like he can pull everything basically, you know.
Yeah.
He's that amazing. Yeah, but I think
He's had a real transition. It's pretty impressive. Movies like Mud and Killer Joe with the fucking chicken
yeah,
bone. Holy
yeah,
shit.
yeah, he's insane totally. But I thought that would be a good idea for the concept for the next some of your next albums or something like that. Like I don't know why,
Yeah,
but
that kind of Black Rebel Motorcycle Club kind of style of music. Yeah, we
yeah.
definitely got a couple in the tank that would fit that one. We got one called Outlaw that's just sort of not, it's just a pile of riffs right now, but I'm sure that's going to make its way out there someday, and that definitely will fit your Black Rebel Motorcycle Club vibe.
Yeah. By the way, what about the Sons of Anarchy? I mean, same thing. Like, also not a bad idea. I mean, it can be already seen, but it depends on the way you deliver it, I guess. You
Yeah,
know?
some of the music on that show is great for sure.
Yeah, yeah. One of my favorite shows. Like, definitely, no one matched that. That I mean, other TV shows were like, okay, this is going to be hard to match this. Yeah. Okay. And now tell me, what about if you get a chance to transport listeners to certain kind of period of time or some kind of situation? What would be your choice? you know, to bring them back somewhere or put them in the future? What would be your choice? How would you do that?
Shit, I'm not even sure how to answer that one. I just
Yeah.
want them to listen to everything that we make, and I hope they enjoy it. But I know that because, like we're talking about, painting the different colors with
Yeah.
every song, there are going to be some songs that resonate with some people, and there are going to be some songs that simply don't. Like, a lot of people came to us from that Happen Again song, and they love that sound. And I have good news for them, because our next single, I think this is going to be the next one we put out, called Somebody Else. It's definitely got some similar tonality to Happen Again. But then there are other people that love the nothing but now kind of thing, and they come to a song like Happened Again or My Kind of Girl, and they're like, what the fuck is this shit? This isn't what I signed up for. I'm like, well, then just
Well,
listen to the one that you like, I guess, guys.
yeah, people be like, you know, they just constantly like to shape you in their own
Yeah.
way, and you'll be like, well, I'm doing what I like, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna take as many forms as I possibly can, and if it sort of keeps some people away from it, well, I'm sorry. Yeah, just listen to the one song that you like, and that'll be it.
Yeah, I always also admire people like, you know, David Lynch. Like, he is insanely good artist. Like, you know,
Absolutely.
I'm not sure if you heard some of his songs. I was like, whoa, like
Yeah,
he's
I
like,
definitely I know the one where he got Karen O to sing on it.
yeah,
Karen O from the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. Hey Pinky, something about Pinky hit the gas or something like that. It's some kind of driving song.
yeah,
Great song. But speaking of David Lynch, the end of that California Demon video where it starts going to the Stroby section, 100% inspired by David Lynch, Fire Walk with Me, the prequel to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw. Yeah, I saw. I like Mulholland Drive, and generally, I mean, all of his movies, like, you know, but that one, like, it was. I was totally fucked up, and for years, like, I have some bad flashes from that movie, and I was
Yeah.
like, is there some kind of artist, you know, who is also influenced by him, and who was trying to transfer that kind of thing to their listeners, and have you ever thought about that? To do something that way, you know, to basically brain flash your listeners with some crazy thing,
Yeah,
you know.
I think he's so avant-garde that he takes it beyond what our normal
Yeah,
zone of it is. I think he just, whatever, he comes up with a crazy idea and then boom, he just puts it out there. But I mean, I remember watching a documentary about Twin Peaks and how it was really just soap opera like, that they were sort of writing it as they were going. It wasn't some big overarching, okay, this episode's gonna be this. They were just really letting it fly. And I guess in that respect, we sort of do that to the same degree, sort of. But as far as going so avant-garde with the music that it becomes like one of his less palatable movies. What was that one with Laura Dern? Inland Empire. I don't think we're ever going to make Inland Empire of music, but yes, you'll probably see like a Blue Velvet or a Twin
yeah,
Peaks of music
yeah.
from us.
Oh, that would be cool. Definitely, definitely. And tell me, okay, that this is also another one interesting. So, if you are going to describe your music as a captivating novel, what would be the opening line that hooks the reader and draws them into your musical world?
Jesus, way to put me on the spot. That's fucked. Welcome to the party.
Oh, okay. Well, that was fast, actually. You see? Yeah, but what kind of party you choose?
Yeah,
Like,
you're gonna have to find out. Yeah, there's gonna be different rooms of the party that are doing different things.
excellent. Well, that sounded cool. And what about your personal? I think it's very cool when I touch those kind of topics with bands. What are your personal favorites? Speaking of books, I mean, generally movies, TV shows, but books. I really like to.
My favorite of all time is the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. I was
Oh,
absolute abomination, that movie that they made with McConaughey and Idris Elba. It wasn't Idris Elba's fault. It wasn't McConaughey's fault. It was just that what was written, it just shouldn't have even been called the Dark Tower. But in good news about that, I just read the other day that Amazon, well, if they fucking fix the strike situation, Amazon has signed on to do a 5-season TV show series and then 3 full-length movies that's going to be much more sticking to the actual source material from Stephen King, which I think is just unmatched. That and Dune. I
Yeah.
love Dune too.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I have been reading Stephen King, since high school, and not a movie or TV show. I think from him. I mean, people who did adaptation, I wasn't really satisfied because
Yeah,
they
there's not
really,
too many. I mean,
yeah,
the
mm,
latest It's did a pretty good job. They were pretty, but I think that he was so popular in the 80s that
yeah.
a lot of those movies had the 80s, 90s kind of little bit bubblegum stink to them, a little bit too soft. They weren't as dark as they needed to be.
Yeah.
If he'd had Kubrick do more of his movies, like The Shining, obviously, if he'd had Kubrick do more of his adapt more of his books, then yeah, you'd get probably a better, closer tonality to what I think the spirit of his writing is.
Yeah, I got Shining, the book, for my birthday, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna read it again and watch the movie again because I haven't done that for 20 years. And
Yeah.
I was like, and the book was like thick, of course. And then I watched the movie and I was like, what the fuck I was watching? Like the movie is empty. Like Jack Nicholson did a great job, and that's it. And that's what I'm
Oh,
going
I
to
don't know
say.
if I agree with you on that, hon. I love
I
that
was
movie, but I'm a very like I love visual arts a hell of a lot. So when you give me something that just looks really fucking cool as well, it obviously doesn't have the depth of the story that the writing does, but you can never get quite that unless you maybe do get a fucking 5-season series out of it.
oh
So I think it
well,
was
yeah.
personally, I think it was a very compelling movie. But yeah, I mean, I like movies that are even like Beyond the Black Rainbow, where it's very little storytelling and just a hell of a lot of incredible visuals.
Well, I don't know. Like, for example, like so many details in the way he was describing certain scenes, I couldn't feel it in any of his movies, or I. Oh, by the way, but I must emphasize that I really liked Castle Rock. I don't know why. Bill
Oh, the
Skarsgård
show,
was, yeah,
the
Bill
show.
Skarsgård was amazing. Yeah,
Yeah, that
like,
was a good show. That was a good show. That girl did a great job, I thought, and I really like the poster for it too.
yeah. That's one. Okay, so I totally.
So there it is.
I
And
know.
maybe it's just you need a season of it at least for it to
Yeah,
flesh out the book properly. Yeah,
yeah.
it's tough to condense something as massive as a novel into one film. It's you got to do a lot of cutting room floor stuff, and I mean, I guess Dune, the first part did a good job, but that's because they've got 2 movies to do it in.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. Yeah. But if you like, I'm not sure what other artists or writers you like, but I would like to recommend you. I'm not sure if you like Japanese writers, but I have been exploring some of them lately, and you probably heard of. I'm not sure how I'm gonna pronounce it because it's Japanese name. Ryu Murakami. He is totally insane. I've read something in Miso Soup. It's like, so you're reading a decent story, like it's kind of a drama, and then all the chaos appears in the horror, and it's so written, like you really see that. I'm not sure how he is, how he is doing that. Like you are basically seeing the movie, and you probably heard of his movie. I mean, that is done based on his book Audition.
Called what?
Oh,
Geisha
Audition.
Edition. No, I haven't
Yeah,
seen the edition.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
audition.
So I watched it before, but the thing is, he is insanely amazing writer, and
Okay,
yeah, you can check it out. It's really not
totally.
easy to find his books, but I think you can find it on Amazon or something like
Well,
that.
yeah, it would have to be translated to English. My Japanese leaves a little bit to be desired.
Yeah. I think there were books translated, but not really easy to find them. For example, all the bookstores here in my city, like it's absolutely gone. Everything is gone. Like
Wow.
like he never existed, but and people won't print it again. Like so, you gotta Google it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And tell me, okay, let's go to the next one. So, but if you had the power to influence some kind of a change in society, What would you how would you use your music, to create awareness of some kind of action or inspire some action?
Um, as I said, I don't. We haven't so far used a lot of our music to make political stands on things, but we do have one that's going to come out. I'm hoping this year, but it might be early next year. It's called "Ain't Funny," and it's a bit of a commentary on how everything is offensive to everybody these days, and
Yeah,
how impossible it must be for comedians to be funny and make any kind of joke, because ultimately the chorus is, it ain't funny unless it offends somebody. It ain't funny unless it offends
yeah,
someone, because ultimately, if you look at any joke,
yeah,
somebody is the butt of the joke. there's
yeah, yeah,
there's very few jokes that don't have a butt of the joke as the punchline, and it's just a matter of what is acceptable by who as being the punchline. For instance, if you're a Asian comedian, you can put on a funny Asian accent when you're impersonating your mom, and then everybody's allowed to laugh. But
yeah,
if you're, let's say, a white comedian putting on an Asian accent, then that would be deemed inappropriate and politically incorrect these days, etc. And I think that it has an overarching statement about the way society's going in general, rather than just the comedy example, which this focuses on. I think it's just a general statement that if you don't like something, that's okay. You're allowed to not like it. Just fucking move on, scroll on. You don't need to make it your entire purpose in life to tear something down, to cancel somebody because you don't find that particular piece of art, humor, or whatever that they've created to be to your taste. You're allowed to
yeah,
be offended. It's okay. It's okay if
yeah.
you're offended. Doesn't mean that they aren't allowed to make their art the way they want to.
Yeah, yeah, I agree on that. Like, I read, when I was still using social media, so I read something that people were joking about it, like, okay, so for example, my favorite fruit, oranges. Oh, so you're saying you hate the grapes? You're not normal. Like, and they were just
Yeah.
making joke out of it, but it's
Well,
pretty much how people function lately. Like,
well, dude, I saw something that I on social media that I had to repost today. It was an article. It was saying how drinking milk is a secret code for white supremacy. I was like, what the fuck are these people even talking about? Now you can't even drink cow's milk, and you're a racist somehow. Like, I feel like
yeah,
the people that come up with this shit are like just sitting in a circle and like laughing, like, okay, what kind of crazy shit can we make up today? And then
yeah,
they put it out there, and Rolling Stone posted or whatever, and they're like, oh my god, they bought this one too. Like,
yeah. But the thing,
it degrades the power and truth and importance of actual racism that should be, of course, fought against, and actual treating of people badly by using these stupid, inane bullshit things that they're coming up with. It just makes the actual truth of real racism so much less. It makes it so much more diluted and not powerful and not worthy of concern. It's fucked.
yeah, I agree totally. And do you think that, I mean, I think social media helped, helped people come to that state, because
Yeah,
you can see people with their phones everywhere. I started using my phone less and I feel so much better. Like, I just shut it down when I go to the beach, read a book, or just meditate or something, And
awesome.
people, that episode of South Park, I just love them, when we kind of lost the internet, and then I don't know whose sister like is going to that village, like they only had the only village that has internet, and
Yeah.
she was constantly texting with a boy, and then when she finally met him, he was just hi, I'll text
Uh,
you later.
yeah, that's completely real.
Like,
That's
yeah,
completely, absolutely how it happens nowadays. To the same
yeah,
extent that you'll see a group of them sitting at a table together and they'll be texting each other instead of talking.
Yeah, it totally kind of ruined. And some people might say, okay, it's not only about social media, but actually generations are raised that way, and they
Yeah.
cannot really achieve much, if they're going to be, you just push your baby a phone and here you have fun. I'm just going, with your daddy to get ice cream, and you have fun with phone. And how do you think your baby is going to grow up,
Yeah.
that way?
Absolutely. I mean, our generation has the ability to pick it up and put it down a little bit, but yeah,
Yeah.
when this generation's been raised on it, fuck knows how it's going to be for them.
Yeah, but I think technology it can be pretty much good when you know how to use it. How the
Absolutely.
how the technology helped your band so far? I mean, you said something about it, but you can add something more to it if you wish.
Oh, dude, it's been an incredible double-edged sword for us. Basically, the wonderful thing about social media, etc., and also in combination with the ease of home recording, is it's allowed us and allowed anybody around the world, like shit, Billie Eilish as an example.
Yeah,
She made a record in her bedroom with her brother, and then through that it just exploded through SoundCloud, blah blah, and then she got this or that record deal. Close the door, Bam Bam, so the cat doesn't leave. Um. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. So in that respect, it's been able to help us big time because we've been able to get our own music out and get a start for things. And if you've got a fucking phone, you can make music videos now. It's not
yeah,
always going to be like the fucking level of cinematic Hollywood quality, but if you got a great idea and you shoot it on your phone, you can get your fucking music out there. So in that respect, you can reach any amount of audience that the quality of your work denotes. But at the same time, the negative side of it, the double-edged sword of it, is that now everybody has access to it. So there's no longer any gatekeepers or tastemakers like there used to be. I mean, that's a good thing and a bad thing because fuck knows how many bands of like Alice in Chains quality we maybe lost in the fucking 80s and 90s because they just didn't get someone behind them to support them with enough money to actually record their music and get it
yeah,
out there.
yeah.
But at the same time now, because everybody's got access to everything, it's just a sea of 90% shit, and it's hard to find the 10% good.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm not really lucky when you mentioned certain bands, for example, like Grand Truck. It was just amazing band, Grand
Gotcha.
Truck, and I was like, why those people weren't huge, like what happened here? Also, band I really like Australian bands, like for example, I don't know, Parkway Drive, Silver Chair. I've always loved Silver Chair, back then, and
Gotcha.
now I'm still listening to them, although they're already gone, forever. And
I
also
got one for
Ammonia.
I've got one for Disharmonia Monday. That's
Uh,
they're Swedish, right?
Ammonia, they're from
Oh
Australia.
no, sorry, sorry. I thought you said Disharmonia Monday or whatever the hell. Maybe I'm pronouncing that wrong. I got one for you though. If you like Australian bands,
Yeah,
this band Carnival and their album Sound Awake is one of the most inspirational, especially because you like Tool. You're gonna fucking love this.
yeah, yeah.
Carnival, incredible.
Oh, I will check them out. I think I heard about it. Yeah, but what I actually wanted to say, like bands like Ammonia and Grand Truck, and I think Ammonia didn't release many albums. Same with Grand Truck, But I was like, dude, like those guys totally deserve it. All the best. I haven't heard a bad song from them actually. And then you have, I mean, I'm glad that people can, make success today because working in some retail is not really good and is not really
Yeah.
paid well and everything else. But the thing is, too bad for other people who definitely deserve success, but they don't get it. But what do you think that people can do nowadays as bands or artists? What can they do if they're low on the budget and they're of good quality and want to achieve something? What would be your advice?
Okay. Um, I saw a interview with Quentin Tarantino where he was at I think a Comic-Con or something like that, and this guy in the crowd asked him the same question. He's like, "What can a budding director do to make it out there these days?" And he said, "Well, we've got the internet, so bottom line is just make something fucking good." And that is true. It has to be fucking good, But if you make something that you really truly believe in and you really think it is special and good, then the unfortunate reality of how to get it out there these days is you do have to use fucking Zuckerberg ads and start getting your stuff into people's eyes through Facebook and Instagram ads. That's what a record label does. That's what a fucking movie studio does. When somebody makes something for them, their budget is 90% going towards marketing. Well, I don't know about fucking 90%, whatever percentage it is, they're putting a huge amount of money into marketing. So if you're trying to make something yourself and get it out there yourself, you got to fucking market it too. If you're going to compete for any amount of eyes. But once you start getting eyes, that's the wonderful thing about the internet, is things do have the potential to go viral by people sharing it themselves if they think it is that fucking good. And we've had a lot of success with our Happen Again song because of that, putting minimal budget into Facebook ads and Instagram ads, and people see it like, oh, what the fuck's this? And they click on it and they go to it and then, oh, I really like this. And they fucking send it and share it with their friends. And it gets a level of traction that way. But yeah, first and foremost, you got to make something that you think you're really proud of. And then if you truly in yourself believe that it's something that that other people want and has worth to other people enough for you to spend a little bit of money on the advertisements to get it out to their eyes, then fucking go and do it.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. And tell me, okay, for the end, this one, do you have some interesting stories like you and Luke, like from your, I don't know, partying stories, from traveling or something like that? Any kind of stories you would like to share?
Yeah, we got a lot of bad partying stories, but I'll give you one from our last tour. So we went out on tour with this amazing band, Small Town Titans, and that was a blast the whole way. And every single night, just about, they play this one song, "The Devil's Choir." Phenomenal song. It was always their last song in the set, so we knew that this was our time. And when they're playing, we would always get in the crowd and try and get people as hyped up as possible, rocking out. But by the time their last song comes on, we jump up on stage and like do a stage dive or two, usually with me or Luke making sure that we would be primarily the one to catch, and then the rest of the crowd helps out, blah, blah, blah. But on the very last night of tour, the crowd was a little bit thinner than would be smart for stage diving.
Oh my
And
God.
Luke runs up there, and he's a little bit too wasted as well. Runs up there, goes for the dive, but he overshot me. It's like went over my shoulder like this. So I half caught him, like his butt slipped through my hands, half caught him, then grabbed his legs. And then because of the impact of it, or the momentum of it, it pulled me down, and we both slammed against the ground. It was like I suplexed him into the ground. And then we're both laying there half dazed. And all of a sudden I'm sort of feeling like I'm getting hit, blah, blah, blah. But I was just thinking, oh shit, it's a lot of people in the crowd, something like that. No, this girl that was in the crowd, older woman, was stomping on us, especially Luke. She was like stomping on Luke's head. And then the fucking bouncers and the rest of the crowd like ripped her off, kicking and screaming. And then we talked to her afterwards, and I guess she was sort of apologetic. We were apologetic when we found out what happened. When he did his dive and he hooked me as I was sort of grabbing him, he'd also hooked her with his other leg and brought her to the ground. So she thought this was some very inappropriate behavior, I guess, because she'd been knocked over and she was a tough biker chick. So yeah, she got up and just started stomping on us. So we had to take him to the ER afterwards. We had to drive him to the ER and get him 15 stitches in his head.
Well, I didn't expect that in the end, but so far
well, you wanted a wild partying story, so that's a pretty wild one.
But I like the way you're dealing with it. I mean, it's all the part of the rock and roll, right?
Yeah, I mean, you also, and when a situation like that happens, you never know when someone's gonna fucking get litigious and threaten to sue you. Because I saw that band Every Time I Die before they broke up about 2 years ago or something. They were at a festival, and this guy, I think his name is Keith or Jordan or something, Jordan Buckley, I don't fucking know. Anyway, the singer, he does this thing where he walks out on the crowd. I'm sure you've seen that 100 times, where they walk out on people's shoulders and people holding them. And he's out doing his thing, which he does at just about every fucking festival. And then like a month or so later, this random girl from the audience, claims that he horribly hurt her by just doing his walkout on the crowd thing. It's like, lady, you're at an Every Time I Die show at a festival. nonetheless. Like, if you're gonna be around in the fucking heaviest part of the pit, which is right in front of where the guy's walking out on the people, etc., I don't think you can sue the fucking band for something you signed up for. But anyway, that's an example of, yeah, we've always got to be pretty cautious about those kind of things, because you never know when someone's gonna sue you and when the fucking judge is gonna side with the what I would think is the wrong person on that, because that'd be the end of the band.
Yeah, I see. I see. Okay, that was all cool, all this conversation, and thank you so much for the interview. And of course, I hope to talk to you soon. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. Have a nice rest of the evening.
You too.
Bye. Bye bye.